Today, we are diving into a huge story that's really reshaping our world, India's global rise. And it's not just one thing, It's a story woven from three massive threads: a booming economy, a huge bet on future tech like AI, and the undeniable impact of its people all across the globe. So let's get right into it. Okay, to really get a sense of the scale here, you have to start with the big picture. Just look at these projections for 2025. The story is crystal clear. At a time when the global economy is, let's say, a bit shaky, India is forecast to be the fastest growing major economy. I mean, it's not just ahead, it's outpacing China, the US, and the world average by a pretty wide margin. And look, this isn't just some rosy forecast from people on the outside looking in. This quote from the leadership at India's central bank shows the confidence they have internally. They're basically saying, hey, this isn't a fluke. They believe it's built on solid ground, strong fundamentals, and really powerful domestic demand. So, to really understand this momentum, we've got to dig into the actual numbers. We'll start with the wide shot, the key stats that are painting this picture of an economy that's really taking off. A massive piece of this economic story is about how India connects with the rest of the world. And in the last fiscal year, total exports, we're talking goods and services together, they hit a brand new record, climbing past $824 billion. And this wasn't just a one-off good year. It's really the peak of a decade of momentum. Exports have shot up by a massive 77% in the last 10 years. That's driven not just by manufacturing, but also, and this is crucial, by services like IT and consulting. But it's not just about what India's selling to the world. It's also about who's buying into India. Foreign direct investment, or FDI, which is a great signal of long-term confidence from investors, it also hit a new high. And yup, once again, that decade-long trend is just striking. FDI has more than doubled in that same time. So what does that tell us? It tells us that global companies aren't just trading with India, they're actually building things there. Factories, R&D centers, and making some serious bets on the country's future. Okay, so that's the 30,000-foot view. But if we really want to see where things are headed, we need to zoom in from the big economy to one of its most critical parts: the plan for artificial intelligence. The government's whole vision for the future is called Viksit Bharat, which pretty much means developed India. And right at the core of this plan is this idea that AI isn't just another piece of tech. Nope. It's seen as the fundamental engine that could rocket the country towards an economy worth over $8 trillion. And we're not just talking about vague promises here. The National AI Mission has a really clear roadmap. The goals are huge. Use the country's massive population data to become a global data hub, create a flexible system to get the workforce skilled up on AI, target AI to boost key industries, and maybe most importantly, try to future-proof jobs from all the disruption technology brings. So you've got this massive ambition at home, but it's matched by an equally powerful story that's happening all over the world. So let's zoom back out and take a look at the impact of what might be India's most famous export: its people. I mean, it's a question that comes up all the time, right? In boardrooms, articles, everywhere. And when you start looking at the public discussion about it, some really fascinating theories pop up that go way beyond just, they work hard or they have good educations. Two big ideas tend to surface. The first one is all about structure. It basically argues that the US immigration system itself acts like this incredibly tough filter. The process is so long and so hard for Indian applicants that, in theory, only the absolute cream of the crop can make it through. The second theory is more about culture, suggesting a specific personality trait, assertiveness, plays a major role. And what's really interesting is that this second idea, the one about assertiveness, actually has some research to back it up. This is a summary of an academic paper that studied MBA students. And what the researchers found was that after controlling for a bunch of other things, South Asians were rated way higher on assertiveness, both by themselves and their peers. And that trait was directly linked to being seen as a leader. Okay, but this whole story about individual success, it kind of begs a bigger, more systemic question. What happens when all of that incredible, high-skilled talent can't actually get into the United States in the first place? Well, an amazing economic study gives us a pretty surprising answer. So the way this usually works is through something called the H-1B visa. It's specifically for companies to hire foreign workers for high-skilled jobs. But there's a catch. There's a strict cap set by Congress on how many new visas can be given out each year. Now, check this out. This is what economists call a policy shock. For a while during the dot-com boom, the cap was way up, near 200,000. But then in 2004, boom, it snapped right back down to just 65,000. And that created this huge bottleneck for US companies that had gotten used to hiring from this global talent pool. And that one change created this perfect chain reaction. First, US companies couldn't hire the skilled people they needed in the US. But second, their need for those skills didn't just vanish. So they found a third way. If you can't bring the talent to the job, you bring the job to the talent. And that's the great offshoring shift. And you can see the result plain as day right here in the data. The researcher tracked the hiring of US multinational companies. The dashed line, that's firms that didn't really use H-1B visas. Their overseas hiring stayed flat. But look at the solid line. Those are the firms that were highly dependent on H-1Bs. Right after that cap changed in 2004, their hiring at foreign offices just skyrocketed. So where did all these high-skilled jobs end up? The study found the growth was packed into 3 main countries, with India, which is the biggest source of H-1B applicants, being a top destination, right alongside China and Canada. All right, so let's tie all of these different threads together. Because these stories that seem separate, India's economy growing at home, its big AI plans, and these global flows of talent, they are all deeply, deeply connected. I mean, the study actually put a number on it. It estimated that for every single high-skilled H-1B job that a US company couldn't fill because of the visa caps, it ended up creating, on average, about a third of a job at its foreign offices instead. So the big takeaway from the researcher is this: restricting high-skilled immigration didn't necessarily save or create jobs in the US. What it did, maybe without anyone realizing it, was just encourage companies to send those high-value jobs somewhere else. Which brings us to this really fascinating final thought. As India goes all in on an AI-powered future, creating code and technology for the entire world, the global demand for its human capital, its talent, its leaders, its engineers, is also reshaping economies thousands of miles away. So the question is, which of those two, the code or the people, will ultimately define India's global impact?